guys, in this month's top 5, I'm going to be sharing with you my 5 favorite scary TV shows. I've said this in the past that I'm not really a horror fan. Scary things they really do frighten me. I'm very squeamish. I'm especially not into like the slasher genre. You know, that stuff really creeps me out. I can't get through it. So yeah, the horror genre is definitely not really my favorite genre. But every so often, a scary-like themed show kind of comes out, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, this top 5 isn't going to be like your traditional scary shows, if that makes sense. These are going to be shows that they have the mood and the tone has a scary feel, a scary atmosphere. But yeah, not your traditional scary show. I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but yeah, I'll get into this top 5 and I'll kind of explain what about it kind of has a scary feel or tone to it, what kind of has a horror-like element to it, I suppose. So yeah, let's get going. At number 5, I have the TV series In the Flesh. In the Flesh was produced by the BBC, and it aired a number of years ago. And what In the Flesh was about, a zombie apocalypse has happened, and the show is taking place in the aftermath of this zombie apocalypse. And the thing is, the people who are zombies, they have kind of been rounded up, and they have to take like a drug. The people who are zombies, they have to take like a medicine or a drug or a pill, whatever. They have to take something that kind of controls their brain, kind of controls them from being what you think of as a typical zombie. So that's kind of the state of the world. The zombie apocalypse is over, it's been handled, and now we're in the aftermath of it, and zombies, they are now kind of treated like citizens, but they're still like very low down on the level of citizenship, if you will. So that's kind of where the horror elements of this story, the TV series, how they come into place. The fact that people are zombies is not really the scary part. You know, the zombies are not the scary part. Very much like The Walking Dead. You know, The Walking Dead has all these zombies, but the zombies are not what's scary sometimes. Sometimes what's scary is humanity itself, what people do to each other. And that's kind of how In the Flesh is as well. What's scary is not the zombies, it's how the zombies are treated by other people. You know, the fact that they used to be humans once, but now they are degraded and demoralized and whatnot. And In the Flesh, what was so brilliant about In the Flesh? It wasn't just a zombie TV series. It was so much more. In a sense, In the Flesh was a metaphor for life. It was a metaphor for just a lot of crises. Because, like, especially the main character, Kieran. Kieran, he's one of the zombies, and he really struggles integrating back into life. And also, the character of Kieran, he's also gay. The thing is, him being gay is not an issue at all. Him being gay is actually accepted by everybody. But the thing is, the way you can look at the show, the zombieism is like a metaphor for being gay, if you will, you know? The zombieism is a metaphor for things like that. It's a metaphor for people's phobias, whether that be you know, homophobia or racism or sexism. The show really kind of explores things in a weird sort of way, if that makes sense, you know, but using the zombieism kind of as that metaphor to kind of dig into some deeper problems, you know? You know, like something like X-Men, you know, X-Men you know, it's about mutants, but it's also kind of a metaphor for like the atrocities of World War II, if that makes sense. So that's kind of how In the Flesh is, if I'm kind of getting that across. But I loved In the Flesh. Sadly, it only had 2 seasons. And yeah, I think the first season was maybe only like 3 or 4 episodes, and then season 2 was maybe 8 episodes or so. So yeah, it was a very short-lived show, but every single episode was utter perfection, utterly gripping, beautifully written and directed and acted. It was just so much more than a zombie show. That's kind of what I'm trying to stress. And it did. I mean, it still had very scary elements in it because, yeah, if the zombies did not take their pills, you know, if they didn't take their medicine to control their brains, then, yeah, they would have like a flare-up and they would become a zombie and they'd go out and kill people and eat people. So, yeah, you would get kind of some of those scarier elements there. So yeah, In the Flesh. Has anybody else seen In the Flesh? Because I love that show and I was absolutely devastated when the BBC canceled it. At number 4, I have The Alienist. This TV series has so far only had 1 season, but they are in the middle of working on a season 2. This TV series stars Luke Evans and Daniel Bruhl and Dakota Fanning. It takes place in the 1800s in America, right? Yeah, it takes place in America. Do I got that right? Yeah, America. And it follows a series of crimes that are going on. A bunch of young boys have been found murdered, and not just murdered, but they've been gruesomely murdered. So that's where the characters that Daniel Bruhl and Luke Evans and Dakota Fanning, that's where their characters enter the picture. Daniel Bruhl's character, he's a, what is he, like he's a psychiatrist. Luke Evans is he draws things. That's kind of his skill. He draws things. He's able to kind of recreate the crime scenes. And Dakota Fanning is a female police officer. So The Alienist, it was seriously just a spine-tingling first season, you guys. Anywhere, just any corner. The killer could be around any corner. The show did a great job of twisting and turning and weaving the story in such a way that you were never quite sure who the killer was. And yeah, when you kind of thought you knew who the killer was, then it would change all of a sudden. And yeah, The Alien is just such a creepy show, very moody and atmospheric, really raw and gritty, and yeah, just some moments of just sheer terror. Like, I'd be on my couch, I'd be clutching my pillow like, oh my god, don't go around that corner, don't open that door, you're gonna get stabbed or something. It was very intense. It definitely provoked a lot of intensity and just a lot of nerves within you. Just so incredibly well done. I love the performances of Daniel Bruhl and Luke Evans and Dakota Fanning. Just definitely the reason why you gotta watch this show. It's for the 3 of them alone. At number 3, Penny Dreadful, starring Ava Green. Penny Dreadful had 3 seasons and then was just randomly ended after season 3, but good news, Penny Dreadful is coming back for another season, but taking place in an entirely different location. But yeah, what I'm talking about is the first 3 seasons of Penny Dreadful, starring Ava Green and Josh Hartnett and Billie Piper. Penny Dreadful took place, was it Victorian London? Yeah, I guess right there, Victorian London. Penny Dreadful, if you can't surmise from the title of the show, it was inspired by classic Penny Dreadfuls, which were like little booklets, right? If I'm getting this correct, like Penny Dreadfuls were like little booklets, and they would have like the classic monster stories and whatnot. And yeah, you paid like a penny? You paid a penny for them, I guess. So yeah, what Penny Dreadful explores is the classic monsters. You get Dracula, you get the Wolfman, you get Dorian Gray, for crying out loud. You get the story of Frankenstein. You get a lot of that type of stuff. And yeah, Penny Dreadful wasn't necessarily like a, oh my god, this is freaking scary type of show, but it was more kind of the atmosphere it provoked, the mood and tone that it provoked. And I mean, it would definitely have some really thrilling, intense, scary moments. Especially with the vampires. The vampires were seriously just crazy. And yeah, the main character that Ava Green plays, a lot of stuff going on with her has a lot to do with the devil, a lot to do with possession. And yeah, Penny Dreadful, it sounds like it's probably just a big monster mashup, but it's so much more than that. It definitely explored humanity, explored what it meant to be human, it explored just societal issues, because yeah, here are some of these people that look like monsters, but they're treated so horribly because they look like monsters. But the real truth is that they are not the monsters. The real monsters are the humans, the people that are mistreating them. So yeah, Penny Dreadful, just such an amazing show, you guys. I cannot recommend it enough. Just breathtaking, especially Ava Green. You guys, you gotta watch the show for just Ava Green. Mind-blowing writing and directing. Just some of the most visually stunning episodes you will ever watch on television. And yeah, there's one particular episode that I think it was season 3, the final season, and it's just Ava Green's character and another character. They're just at an insane asylum in her cell. The entire episode is just her cell, and it was stunning. It was mind-blowing, and it gave me chills, and it was the most perfect episode of television I ever watched. At number 2, The Terror. More specifically, I'm going to focus on season 1 of The Terror. Season 2 of The Terror, I do love. It definitely has its moments of being really freaky and scary and terrifying. But yeah, I'm going to focus more on season 1 because season 1 is definitely my favorite season out of both seasons of The Terror. Season 1 of The Terror focused on these 2 ships. It takes place in like the 1800s, focusing on these 2 ships, one ship being called the Terror and then another ship called the Erebus. And it's these ships are trying to find like a passage through the Arctic, something like that. But of course, they're up there in the Arctic. It's freezing and cold. They're running out of rations. They can't find proper food source, and so in the meantime, when they kind of get their ships get frozen in the ocean, essentially. Their ships get frozen. They're stuck, and they're kind of just stuck in one place. And in the meantime, they keep seeing some freaky things going on. They keep seeing some mysterious creature in the distance. People keep dying mysteriously. And yeah, what makes The Terror so spine-tingling good? It's a very psychological horror story. It's kind of like survival horror. Because yeah, you don't really see what the big mysterious entity is, the terror. You don't get to physically see what it is that's stalking these guys. You don't get to see it until kind of near the end of the show. So that's why I say this is definitely a show about psychological horror, about survival horror, because it's about these men stuck on these 2 boats, nowhere to go, running out of food. They're all at each other's throats, yelling and arguing and blaming each other for various different things. And yeah, on top of that, people are just kind of randomly dying. And The Terror is just so atmospheric because you watch it, and any given episode, I would feel cold. I would feel hungry. It's like I felt like I was there on the ships with these guys, you know, because I was like, oh, I'm cold, I'm hungry. And yeah, that first season of The Terror, just absolutely brilliant. I definitely recommend it. And at number 1, if you haven't already guessed it, because I did a whole season 1 review a couple months ago that I spent like near an hour talking about this show. At number 1, I have The Haunting of Hill House. Whew. Do I even need to talk about The Haunting of Hill House? Because I should just recommend you go to my full-length video where I spent almost a goddamn near hour talking about this show. The Haunting of Hill House is an incredibly epic, amazing story, you guys, and a show. Just master class in acting and directing and storytelling. Dear freaking God. This is what you need to know about The Haunting of Hill House. It has 2 timelines, essentially, that kind of intersperse with each other. There's a timeline that takes place maybe about 20-something years ago. It follows this family, the Crane family. They come to Hill House. The father is there to flip the house so it can be resellable. He's there with his wife and his young children. Of course, some freaky shit starts happening at the house, and eventually they have to leave the house, and so that's when we get to the modern day setting. We know very early on that the mother is dead. Did she commit suicide? Did the house kill her? Was she possessed? What was going on there? So yeah, in the present day setting, you have the father and all of his grown children now, and this show, what is so special about The Haunting of Hill House? It's not just a horror show to throw jump scares at you and to be scary. The show is definitely very much a family drama. The focus is the family. The focus is on the characters, their inner pain, the things that they are struggling within themselves, struggling with their family, and it is such a beautiful, captivating show. Very emotional. I cried every episode. Yeah, you're thinking, I thought this list was supposed to be about scary TV shows. You shouldn't be crying. But yeah, Haunting of Hill House just weave together such a perfect story that you would be screaming in terror at one moment, and then the next moment you'd be crying your eyes out. So yeah, out of everything on this list, I definitely recommend everything on this list, but above and beyond just everything, The Haunting of Hill House. You must watch it. It's on Netflix. If you got a Netflix account, go watch it. So you guys, that's it for my top 5 scary TV shows, if you want to call these scary TV shows. Like I said, I'm not into traditional horror movies or slasher movies or anything like that, so yeah, I really appreciate a good TV series that has elements of terror and horror, but yeah, not so much that you're like, oh my god, I can't handle this. So you guys, in the comments below, have you guys seen any of these shows? Do they scare you as much as they did me? And yeah, what other recommendations do you have? Kind of judging from my list, what do you think I in particular would really enjoy? Just let me know. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.